Good morning, dear students. I hope you are all very good. Today, we are going to discuss self-introduction, and in next lecture, evaluation number 1 of self-introduction will be done. So we'll discuss how to introduce our own self formally to the interviewer. I really hope that the screen is clear to you and I'm completely and clearly audible to you. All right. So we are going to proceed. So what are the various objectives of self-introduction? You will come to know all these objectives in this PPT. This particular introduction PPT has been prepared to tell you how to introduce yourself formally. Okay, including the language that you are going to use and the body language that you show and express by the way of your body. And we will also revise the basic do's and don'ts. Why I have used this particular word revision, revise here, because we have already done introduction in first and second semester, but that we did quite informally. Right now we are preparing for a professional introduction, a formal introduction, and we will get to know the do's and don'ts of self introduction. When you come to know the do's and don'ts of introduction and how to introduce yourself properly to the interviewer, it will certainly build confidence among all the students. You will be able to get rid of certain fears, apprehensions, hesitation, etc. And when you get rid of all such apprehensions, it will certainly contribute towards developing your overall personality. Okay, and in future, it is going to prepare you for placements also. So when you start introducing yourself, okay, see, there is a difference between introducing yourself and telling something about yourself, which tell you later on after completing this. So whenever you start introducing yourself, you need to greet everyone who is in the interview panel in a very pleasing manner. Okay, you should have a very light smile on your face. Okay, so you should also keep in mind the exact time frame of the day so that you can wish good morning, good evening, good afternoon, etc. And you should always say either I am or my name is. Never start your introduction with the word myself. Myself is a reflexive pronoun, and we are not supposed to start our introduction with the word myself. It should either be I am or my name is. Then you start telling about your lower examination classes, your percentage, the subjects that you had. Okay, if you are introducing yourself in your first semester, then you will have to tell the percentage and the name of school you studied in 10th and 12th. Okay, so whatever percentage you scored in your 10th and 12th, you need to tell that. Then a little bit about the family. See, whenever we are asked to introduce our own self, we tell a lot many things about the family, but we have to be very specific and to the point. So we should tell about the occupation of our parents and number of siblings we have. Okay, we are not supposed to tell the entire history of what our siblings are doing until or unless we are asked the same thing. Okay, so try to be specific in terms of family and try to complete your family details in 2-3 sentences only. Okay, then comes your hobbies and interest. So whenever we introduce our own self or whenever we prepare our self introduction, a question comes to our mind: why do we need to tell our hobbies and interest? Why? Because hobbies and interests are very much personal. So in this particular question, we get the answer that hobbies and interest gives give an insight into your personal self. One who is interviewing you comes to know the kind of person you are from your hobbies and interest. So you should choose your hobbies and interest carefully, and whatever hobby doesn't belong to you, you should not tell that. Maybe later on the interviewer asks you the details of that particular hobby, why you follow it, what time you follow it, how do you follow it. So, okay, try to be yourself. Whatever hobby belongs to you, you need to tell that. Whatever hobby or interest doesn't belong to you, you should not tell that. Then you need to throw some light on the strengths and weaknesses. As far as your strengths are concerned, you should always, throw light on your positive qualities that help you in becoming a better person, that help you in helping others, in assisting others, in developing your personality. Okay. On the other hand, when you are asked something about weaknesses or you tell something about your weaknesses, you should not, share very personal weaknesses of the past, especially. Okay, maybe in the past you were addicted to some drug or you were addicted to something. Okay, you are not supposed to tell that. Why? Because nobody wants to hire an addicted person. So weaknesses that you can transform into one of your strengths, you should always mention them in your introduction. Then you need to tell your short-term goals and long-term goals. So why do we need to divide them in short-term goals and long-term goals? Just because we want to express that we are the organized person. So whatever we think, we organize it into short-term goals and long-term goals, and then we start making plans to achieve it. Okay? Then comes the inspiration of your life, the role model, or the philosophy of your life that is, highly inspired by the person who is your role model. So, everybody chooses the role model of his or her life very carefully. I hope that you also choose the same quite carefully. It is not that you should always, mention some celebrity or some popular or some famous or some renowned person as your role model. It could be anybody who inspires you with his or her attitude, with his or her achievements, with his or her dedication to work in his profession. Okay, it could be a celebrity, okay, a Bollywood hero, a Hollywood hero, it could be a politician, it could be your mother also, your friend also. Okay, and when you complete the education part, hobbies and interest, family details, your short term and long term goals, philosophy of life, your role model, I think there is nothing left to be told to the interviewer. Okay, say thank you everyone for patient listening. If there are, some 2, 3 members in the jury, and give a good smile to the person who is interviewing you. Okay, so this was all about how to introduce yourself. As far as body language is concerned, your face should be smiling while you introduce yourself. It is not that you should not use your hands, you should not use gestures, but the use of gestures should be in moderation. It is not that you are using your hands so much that the entire concentration and focus of the interview is on the use of hands. Okay? Use of gestures should be in moderation. Your tone should be very polite. Okay, you should take pauses in between to express your feeling of being normal. Okay, it means that you, through your polite tone and I mean small pauses in between, you want to tell that you are not extra nervous. Word stress, whenever you introduce yourself, there are some words that are very important to describe your personality, the kind of person you are, the kind of hobbies you have, the strengths you have. So I mean, you should put stress on important words while you introduce yourself. Okay, and when you finish with your introduction, maybe the interviewer gives you some suggestions or gives you a piece of advice. You should always sit with a receiving attitude, positive attitude to receive whatever the interviewer has to say about your personality, about whatever aspects you told him about your personality through your introduction, and try to be to the point, specific. Okay, your introduction should not last more than 2 minutes, and you should remain calm and composed during the whole introduction of yourself. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. Now, some important points to remember while you introduce yourself. Don't look to be in a hurry. Okay, you should not look as if you are in a hurry, you have to catch the train, or you have some other important work. What else can be more important than your introduction, which is a part of your interview? So you should not look to be in a hurry. You should take small pauses in between the dialogues and to tell that your speech is very normal. Okay, and when you introduce yourself, you complete your introduction and you say thank you in the end. Maybe the interviewer asks you certain questions. Okay, maybe that person holds a one-to-one interaction with you, so you should listen carefully before you speak anything. Listen to the question and then you answer it. Sometimes we don't listen to the question completely and we start, you know, giving our input, giving the answer. So what happens if the question is not listened to completely, the answer will not be complete. Okay, and always remain prepared with the detail of each and everything that you tell as a part of introduction, whether it is a hobby, an interest, your goal, your philosophy of life. You should always get into deep details of every aspect of your self introduction, so that you don't get nervous whenever a question is asked on the basis of any component of introduction. Okay, and try to be reasonable and realistic. Be yourself. Okay, don't imitate anybody else. Okay, whatever hobbies and interest or goals you choose to tell, everything should be logical, everything should have a reason, it should belong to you. First of all, don't mention anything irrelevant in your introduction. I already told you that you have to be specific and to the point, and try to offer an opportunity to the interview to ask you anything about your introduction in the end. Okay, when you finish with your introduction, you say thank you for your patient listening. uh, any question if you have, sir, you can ask me. Okay, like this. That is all about me till now, sir. Ma'am, anything else that you want to know, sir, ma'am, so that you give them an opportunity to ask you whatever they want to ask you. Okay, and don't look to be extra conscious or nervous. Try to behave normally. Remember one thing: interviewer is an expert, no doubt, but he or she is a human being also. He or she understands that little bit of nervousness during such an interaction is quite a normal thing. Okay, so don't be extra conscious, don't be extra nervous. Be confident, not overconfident. I hope each and every aspect of how to introduce yourself formally is clear to you, and you will, prepare for your first evaluation, self introduction, which is going to be held in next lecture. Seriously. Thank you very much. God bless you. Have a good day.